Yo, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I really do appreciate you guys for coming back to check me out. Before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and make sure you like this video. Thank you. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I told you guys I was doing a Q&A and you guys submitted your questions, and I really do appreciate you guys for participating. And guess what I'm going to do today? I'm going to answer each one of those questions. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do this from my iPhone. Let's go ahead. The first question is from Than Long Nugent. Hope I've said that right. If I don't, then you have every right to get at me. Would you recommend the Yamaha HS5s or the KRK Rocket 5s for a beginner? Well, to be quite honest, you have so many options nowadays. The HS5s are, to me, more flat, and the Rocket 5s have a little more color to them. If I was you, I would take my favorite song to Guitar Center and go to the monitoring AB switch room and just listen to those monitors, because they do have those monitors set up there, and you will make your choice. Whatever sounds good to you, whatever you want to do. You want to do production, you want more punch, I would go with the Rockets. If you want to do a little more mixing or something that's more flat, I would go with the HS5s. But you do have the option to listen and see whatever sounds better to you when you go down to Guitar Center. So hopefully that helps out. And the next one is from Melissa Prada. I don't have any questions, just sending love from AZ. Well, you know what, Melissa, I really do appreciate that. I love your channel, by the way, and you're awesome. And I'm sending love from Georgia. Thanks, Melissa. And the next question is from Rhythmatica. When are you coming to Australia so I can buy you a beer? Hey man, a beer sounds dope. Hopefully I'll be in Australia soon. I haven't toured in a while, but when I start back touring, I come holler at you, man. I really appreciate you for dropping that comment. The next question is from Anonymous Electronica. Why don't you have any higher end studio monitors like Adams, Genelec, or VXTs? I love those monitors, by the way. Whenever I'm in a pro studio and they have those, I definitely like to hear my things, hear my songs on that. But for my home studio, what I have are the Rockets, which I use for production, and the NS10s, which are professional bookshelf monitors, which are found on majority of large format consoles like the SSL in mostly every commercial studio in the country. So I got used to mixing on those, and I put them in my home studio, which, like I said, you find them in mostly all professional environments. But yeah, when I get a different room or something like that, the Adams are definitely one of my favorites, and the Genelecs. But right now, these work for me. They're really dope and I love them. But thanks, man. Thanks for your question. The next question is from Vibe Prank Videos. Which you have set up or recommend some method for editing voice to give them a touch of quality and professional brilliance? Thanks, greetings from Dominican Republic. Thanks for the question, by the way. I'm thinking you're asking me what setup do I recommend for great vocals to get some of that brilliant, that sound, something that sounds really great. Well, as far as a setup, I would say all you need is a laptop, a audio interface, something like a PreSonus audio box, and a microphone like a Perception or an AT2020, or you can go up to Norman if you want, but those are some pretty decent microphones to get that great voice. I really appreciate your question. Hopefully that helped you out some, man. The next question is from Mana Tito. I guess I said that right. If I didn't, you guys please correct me. How did you get started on YouTube, and how did you start your first home studio? I did get started a couple of years back. My friend D.A.W, you guys probably know, he's a pretty big YouTuber and Vine star. He encouraged me to get on YouTube, but I didn't do it at the time. Last year, I decided to start taking it serious by kicking off my home studio tour. You guys appreciated what I had to put up there, so I just took the stuff I had around the house, since I already do a lot of filming and I have a home studio, and I just went at it. And as far as a home studio, I've been doing this for over 10 years. And I've worked with some of the greats like the Track Stars, Gibbs, Bruno Mars, and I've always been in a professional environment, and I want to have it in my house. So I got started doing engineering and working in radio, and I decided to just put it in my house. But that's how I started. I just started working in other people's studios and other people's houses and different things like that, recording their vocals right after I graduated from college. And it's been a great time. I just bought my work to my house and invested in myself. Pretty much, that's how that worked out. The next question is from Gavi Music, and the question is, how did you become friends with established artists of industries? P.S. You're awesome. Back at you. You're freaking awesome. But how do you make friends in the industry? Just basically hang out and be yourself. Be good at what you do. A lot of people in the industry, to be honest, they hang around people that can benefit them of some sort, and it starts off as a work relationship and then it grows into something different from there. It grows to a friendship. You start playing laser tag, like for example with my friend Jibbs. He's a big artist and I started engineering for him, but about 2 months later, I ended up hanging out with him, going to the movies and playing laser tag all the time. And even while we were on tour, we got an opportunity to hang out a lot, and it just grew to a friendship from there, and we're still good friends to this day. But most of friendships in the industry start off professional, and then it graduates to something else. Just be really good at what you do and be in the right place at the right time. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for that question. And the next question is from Saxologist. Hello, can a software-based home studio accomplish what a hardware-based one can in terms of recording, compressors, limiters, effects, plugins, AUs, etc.? I notice you have a mixture of hardware and software. Thanks. Well, today, Saxologists, we live in a modern technology to where a lot of the hardware companies that produce like the Yuri LA2A and the LA2, they graduated to the software, hybrid, hardware industries, like my Universal Audio Apollo 8. Universal Audio makes some pretty incredible software versions because they own the actual hardware and the electronics of it. So they created a schematic to where they use the specs from the hardware and turned it into an emulated software, and it sounds pretty great. 10 years ago, software wasn't that great, but nowadays you can actually accomplish what hardware accomplished by using software. A lot of the software now is pretty damn close to the actual hardware version of it. Like all of the Universal Audio stuff. The SSL bus compressor on the Waves is actually pretty damn dope. Yes, you can accomplish great things. And to be quite honest, 90% of records that you hear on radio, that you hear on CDs, and that you hear that artists put out, 90% of them are done in the box, which is software. Most of the mixes that you hear every day are done in software and done with software versions of the actual hardware that used to be prominent back in the day. But if you're a hardware head, man, please invest in that hardware because there's still a little something missing. But software, you can get some things accomplished with that. So hopefully I answered your question, man. The next question is from Emilian Voice Silly. Did I say that right? Hi, I would love to start a music career. What microphones, MIDI keyboards, DAW would you recommend for me to start? And would you use an Apple product or a Windows PC? Thanks, man. Oh, and also, what software would you use for recording voice? What a great question, man. When it comes to microphones, I'm actually doing a lot of videos suggesting microphones and pointing out the pros and the cons. I can't particularly tell you what microphone, but you get something that's versatile when you're starting out and getting something that's high quality, which I am dropping a microphone video in a couple days. So come back to my channel and check that out. And that will give you more insight on how to pick a microphone. And also MIDI keyboards and DAW. MIDI keyboards, you can get anything from Alesis to Akaya or M Audio. They make all pretty great stuff. And DAW, you actually have to just play around with the DAW. Do some research on YouTube. Me, I use Logic for my production, which is Apple based. And as far as my recording, I use Pro Tools, which works on PC and Mac. It just works for me. It's my workflow. And I'm pretty productive with it. But you have to pretty much try out software and see what fits you, because all software is different, but they all do the same thing, to be honest. You can use any DAW, any D.A.W to record vocals, because most DAWs now you can produce or you can record vocals on them. My suggestion is something like FL Studio, Reason, Reaper, Logic, Pro Tools. Any one of those will fit. They all do the same thing, but they do it differently. You just have to kind of take a look at it and be like, hey, this one works for me. And this message is from It's Jono, bitch. That's my phone. What is the most used piece of equipment you use in your studio? P.S. You the real MVP. No, man, you are the real MVP. Actually, Jono, I use pretty much everything frequently, but I make more beats than I record vocals. So I guess you could say I use my MIDI keyboards and my all my MIDI controllers and software more than anything, and my microphones will come next. Because I use everything, man, all the time, because I'm just a creative person. I come in with a blank canvas and I just throw everything out and say, hey, where am I starting at today? I hope that answered your question, bro, and you're the real MVP. Thanks for that, man. Appreciate that. And the next question is from Brendan. Have you used the JBL LSR 305s? If so, how were they? They were the LSRs. I'm not sure what model they were. I don't really remember them like that. I would say go to Guitar Center. They do have them set up in the monitoring room, and just listen to them. Pull up one of your favorite songs and give them a listen. But I'm pretty sure they're pretty good because JBL makes some really good stuff, and I trust JBL. They make really good home stereo stuff and live sound, live venue speakers. So pull up your favorite song, and if you like them, man, go with them. Pretty sure they're pretty good. I hope they helped you out. I can't recall really using them a lot, but I do recall using them. So I hope they help you out, man. Thanks for that question. Next question is from Maiden Harmonics. What is your most favorite piece of equipment that had a huge impact on your production? Anything from hard to software. To be honest, it was the MPC. That was when I learned that I could not only play the piano and produce a beat, but I can actually use a drum machine. I've been playing instruments all of my life with the piano and the drums, but when I was introduced to the MPC, it changed something. It made me a producer. That was the point I think I became a producer, is when somebody sat an MPC in front of me, because it was just something about it. I could use the piano and the MIDI controllers connected to it, but it was just an amazing experience. I had drum pads, and I can alter different sounds and do different filters and do different controls. I just loved the way the pads felt at that point. I hope that's not too weird, but it changed my whole life. Just somebody sitting an MPC in front of me. I was like, okay, I'm a producer now. Thank you for that question, man. I hope that answered it. The next question is from Dr. Bass. When did you start music? Who is your favorite artist besides me? Just kidding. You my favorite artist, guy. What you talking about? Anyway, man, I started music when I was probably 3 years old, which is a very long time ago, over 2 decades ago. And who is my favorite artist? My favorite artist is actually, to be honest, is Michael Jackson. I know it's cliche. Michael just was a versatile artist. Michael's voice is just phenomenal. I actually like Michael Jackson as a performer and as an artist and as a producer. Thanks for that question, man. I appreciate that. I like the fact that you're prohibiting noobs for entering your YouTube channel. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you. The next question is from Fraser Nader, which is, how do you connect all your MIDI instruments? I have 3 keyboards and a mixer, all connected, and looking for a way to add more. Right now, I have a dual display MacBook. I run out of USB jacks. Thank you. That's a good question. As far as the MIDI keyboard, what I would do is I would slave through the other. If it's MIDI, if it's USB, just get another USB repeater or USB hub. But if it's MIDI, I would just slave them through. I would run them through where the through switch is. That's how I would do it. That's how I did it when I had just all hardware and sound module, and that's what my production was based on, sound modules. I just used the MIDI through so I can constantly daisy chain them. But yeah, that's what I would do, man. Hopefully I answered your question. The next question is from Egilla04. Hey Archie, I see you have a Duet and using the Apollo as well. I was thinking of adding Apollo Twin. Right now I'm using a Duet iPad/Mac. Will the Twin sound much better? I know it has its own processing built in, but how much RAM will I need using a MacBook Pro with 8 gigs? Depending on how old your Duet is, me personally, the Twin sounds a little better than the older Apple G Duets. In my opinion, the Apollos are more versatile due to the fact that it has its DSP, it has its own processing on board. I love my Apollo, it's great, and I love my Duet, which I've had over 10 years. It works just fine. And as far as RAM, if you have something that has its own DSP, you don't have to pretty much worry about RAM, but at least be at about 16 gigs of RAM in any given situation. To be honest, you're actually in a really good situation. If you want the Apollo, you really want it, I would make the investment. If you want something with onboard DSP, definitely invest in the Apollo. It's extremely dope, and at least take your RAM up to about 16 in any given situation. Hopefully I helped you out. Next question is from Jay Monet. What helped you learn to mix? To be quite honest, this is in any given situation. You'll hear it from any pro engineer. Spend time listening to music and learning how to EQ and learning how to compress. Practice on balancing vocals and instruments and creating space in your mix where everything has its designated area. Just spend time. It takes time to learn to mix. If you hear from an older engineer, they will tell you, a lot of them didn't go to school. They just did it for so long till they developed the ear and second nature on how to make a record sound phenomenal. But yeah, just spending time practicing and just learning what equalization is and proper compression is and you will be really dope. So just stay at it and just stay in there and spend time doing it. And shadow some engineers. If you have access to engineers in your area, wherever you're from, Jay, shadow them, follow behind them, ask them questions. Just try to learn as much as you possibly can and spend time doing it. Hope that helped you out. The next question is from LeBlanc is my bitch. I'm getting started with GarageBand and are planning to start with Logic Pro someday. Do you recommend any good sound packs and plugins I can do trap beats and usual hip hop beats with? Well, one thing I suggest is the Track God VST, which I use that a lot with trap music. And as far as hip hop, listen to some of the guys like Jake Dilla, Jazzy Jeff, hear how they produce things, invest in a record player, find your own drums, find your own samples and do it legally. A lot of hip hop producers are kind of against getting pre-made samples already, and they kind of have this thing about real producers find their own drum samples. No, real producers make their own drum samples. How about that? Stop hating on other folks and how they get their sound. Like I said, for trap, Track God, VST, they got some really dope stuff in there. And Logic comes with a plethora of sound libraries. The new Logic, which is great. It used to be $1,000, now you pay 200 bucks. And you get all the jam packs, which is freaking dope. Just do a quick hip hop drum samples, classic hip hop drum sample Google search, and you'll find everything you need, I promise you. Hopefully that answered your question. Next question is from Noah Kramer. I saw you got a new drum kit a while ago. What kind is it? And what cymbals do you use? The drum I purchased was a Pearl Roadshow, and the cymbals are default cymbals that came with it. I haven't changed anything up. I do replace the cymbals. If I play the drums live, I replace them with samples of cymbals that's in my jam pack in Logic, or my studio drummer. I have a couple drum VSTs that are pretty dope. I even have the Beatz Fab 4, and I replaced the cymbals with that as well. It's a Pearl Roadshow, and it's a pretty decent drum kit. Thank you for that question, Noah. I really appreciate that. And the next question is from JG4207. What would be a good starter keyboard? A good starter keyboard is, if you mean MIDI keyboard, I would say an M Audio or an Akai or KeyStation or something like that, or MPK. Those are really good to start with. And if you're talking about like just a keyboard with sounds in it, a starter keyboard would be something like a Casio, and then you can graduate up to your Rolands and then get into your Motifs and Yamahas. Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you for that question, man. And the next question is from Natasha Soleil. What's a good mic for singers? Do different mics sound better with different timbres? Well, Tasha, a great microphone for singers is anything with a large diaphragm. When you're looking for a microphone, search for large diaphragm and search for wide dynamic range, which are normally from 20 hertz to 20K, and those are really good microphones. Get you something that has a higher max SPL level, just in case you want to hoop and holler if you have gospel singers. But it also depends on the tone of the singer as well. When you're on YouTube, you can find so many videos of people testing microphones on this type of vocal and that type of vocal, which is, we live in an information age, and all information now is just right at your fingertips. You just search it and you'll come up with something. But yes, keep that in mind. With singers, a large diaphragm, a wide dynamic range, a great frequency response, and you will end up with a great microphone. Thank you for that question. Well, thank you guys for sending your questions in. This was really fun. You guys are freaking awesome. I love you guys. You guys show me so much love, and I really do appreciate that. I really do. So yeah, make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you have any more questions, you know the drill. Make sure you comment below. I really appreciate you guys once again. Follow me on Twitter, Archie Beatz, Instagram, Archie Beatz. You guys are dope. This is your boy, Archie Beatz, and I'm signing off.
Archie beat on the beat. Yeah.